Sleep is essential for physical and mental health. In today's video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips that I've used to improve my sleep as an athlete and circus performer, and so that you can hopefully try these 5 tips and see if it helps improve your sleep and energy. Tip number 1 is set a consistent bedtime. This one is huge. Our body runs on circadian rhythms and a circadian clock. So every day your body is expecting to go to bed at a certain time, and if you're going to bed like a couple different hours every night, you know, big variety of bedtime, say 8, 12, 1 a.m., your body is never going to know when to expect to go to bed. And the reason that is important is because you're never going to get tired, so that when you do go to sleep, you're not going to sleep because your body's like, oh, well, we went to bed at 1 o'clock last night. Why would I be sleeping? It's only 10 o'clock. So you've got to set a consistent bedtime. Tips that help me to actually get into bed on time, without delay, and without procrastination is setting up my bed space. So for me personally, I sleep on the floor. So to actually go to bed, I have to lay out my bed and set it all up. So this is step number 1 of my bedtime routine. Well, you might not sleep on the floor. The point here is to complete all of your bedtime tasks so that you can just get into bed without having to do anything. Brush your teeth, get your pajamas on. Do this before it's your bedtime so that you have that done in advance, and all you have to do is walk towards the bed. A lot of people, they set alarms, and this is a great tool to go to bed on time. The problem with them though is the alarm goes off, it's 10 o'clock and the alarm's dinging, you haven't cleaned your teeth, you've still got the dishes left, and it's just this big ugh, and then you're like, oh, why not? I'll just lay down here for another 5 minutes and then do that. So really make sure that you complete all of those tasks that you need to do before bed and before you've got your alarm going off, and this will get you in the direction of hitting that bedtime. Tip number 2 is nutrition and meal timing. This one is really bio-individual, but for me, the number 1 thing that's helped, placing my dinner earlier on in the evening, not having it so close to bed. And I can confirm this because I wear an Oura Ring, which is basically a sleep tracking app, device, and it cost me $500. So it's pretty accurate, and every time I have a meal close to bed, my readings significantly go down. The reason for this is when you eat a meal, it increases your body temperature, and when your body is going to sleep, your core body temperature needs to drop. So having that meal close to bed is actually counteracting your body's natural process in terms of going into that sleep mode per se. Another reason for this as well is after you have a meal, it probably takes 3 to 5 hours to fully digest. And while you're digesting that food, your body cannot optimize or can't optimally go into deep sleep. And because of that, that time that you'll be spending in bed won't be giving you as much potential restorative benefit as if you'd had that meal a little bit earlier. So trying to have your dinner 2 hours before going to bed, even 3 can be really good, but sometimes that's not practical for everyone and their lifestyle. Something else to consider with nutrition when it comes to a pre-bed meal is emphasizing carbs and protein. This is quite counterintuitive. A lot of people think that they want to eat less carbs because that energy is going to turn into body fat. But what actually happens when you eat carbs is it puts your body in a parasympathetic state. This means rest and digest, relaxation. It's that post-meal knockout effect that when you feel super tired and lethargic and full. And while you don't want to be having that right before bed, if you have that a couple hours before bed, it can put your body into that state that you want, so that by the time you do get to bed, you're super tired. Number 3 is light exposure before bed. Something that can really impact your sleep is bright light. This is because it signals to your body that it's daytime and it's not time to sleep. So that when you do go to bed, you switch off the lights, but your body just remembered that it was light 10 seconds ago, so it thinks, oh, it's still the daytime. So you want to limit or lower bright light exposure before going to bed. I use blue blocking glasses, and these basically, number one, they dim the light and they also block the blue rays. So the blue rays are basically the light that is in the sun and is in the sky when you go outside. So these are the number one rays that trick your body into thinking it's daytime. So that's why these are great. These were about $100, so they are quite expensive. So an alternative to these is just any old pair of glasses. They won't specifically block the blue rays, but they'll block and dim the overall light. So they'll be having less of an effect because less light will be going into your eyeball, basically. Another option here as well is putting on your night filter on your phones and technology. You can put it on yellow mode, which is basically doing the same thing as these blue blockers. It won't be as strong. These are pretty extreme, as you can see it's super orange, but it will be still having a positive effect. And as well as that, if you have the option to dimming the lights, not everyone has this, I don't, but some houses you can turn the light down with a switch, and that is a really nice option as well, to dim the area and get your body ready for sleep. Fourth tip here is going to be meditation and breath work. So this one seems pretty woo-woo, and it's also one that is hard to implement because it takes time. You can't just do it in a second, but I've really found it helpful, especially when I've had a really stressful day, and I've done all the things, but my mind is just going and I can't get it to stop. And that is doing some meditation, or more specifically, breath work. Breath work, what this does is it switches your body into that parasympathetic state, and it almost forces it to happen so that you can't not get there. So a great breath work that I learned from Andrew Huberman, if you listen to that podcast, it's very popular, is called a cyclic inhale, or a double inhale and then long exhale through the mouth. So the way this looks is you breathe in through the nose ideally, and then once you've breathed into your max, you're going to breathe in one more time fast, and then you're going to exhale through the mouth all the way. So I'll just do that one more time, breathing in again and breathing out through the mouth, making sure that the lungs are fully depressed, that you've breathed out all of that oxygen. So even doing 5 to 10 of these breaths, even one, is really beneficial before going to bed. So if you just get ready into bed and then do a couple of those breaths, and that will help switch you off. Alternatively, you can do a little guided meditation. This one's great, just be careful not to start scrolling on your phone, because that's definitely happened to me before, looking for a meditation and then something else comes up. So that's why I do like the breath work, but a meditation is another great option before bed. The fifth and final tip is to use ear blocking and mouth taping. So I put this tip last because it requires you to buy things, but I thought I'd put it in the end because I do both of these every single night. So number one is mouth taping. So this is just a mouth tape that you get from the chemist, and basically you strip it off and you put it on your mouth so you can't breathe through your mouth. A lot of people, when they sleep, they breathe with the mouth open, and that is really bad for your sleep because it puts your body in a stress state unconsciously. You won't even feel it, but your body will be in that stress state and you won't be getting the deepest sleep that you can. And it's also bad for your teeth because it's like getting that ear exposed to your teeth. There's no saliva on your teeth, so it's bad for cavities as well. And that wasn't actually one of the reasons why I started doing this, but it helped my sleep as well. So trying mouth taping, if you haven't, it's about $5. Get it from the chemist and just try that every night, and you get a much better sleep from this. The other thing is using earplugs. So these are really good because a lot of times we don't realize that noise is disturbing our sleep, especially if you live in a city. There'll be cars going past, there'll be banging, there'll be neighbors, and a lot of time when we're sleeping, we just wake up for a second when we hear a bang. It's like, and then you go back to sleep. The problem with that is it's interrupting your deep sleep, so you're going in and out, and then it takes time to get back in every time you get pulled out of that sleep. So it's affecting the quality of it. So it's really good as just like, even if you don't live in a noisy area, just to use these just in case that a random sound does come and then it brings you out of that sleep. These are even cheaper. These are like $2 or $1, and they can really just help minimize that noise. The main thing you have to be aware of these is that you have a nice, good, loud alarm, because you don't want to miss your alarm when you like in the morning, because you've got earplugs in. But yeah, definitely recommend these, especially. And then the mouth tape as well. Lots of studies and lots of people recommend the mouth tape for overall health as well as sleep. So these are the 5 tips that I've used to improve my sleep. Personally, I'm actually making this video because I was having bad sleep for a couple of weeks, and these are the things that I know and wasn't doing and needed to be reminded of, and hopefully you can find these tips helpful. I've tried to make this video a little bit snappier than my usual ones, so hopefully you found it entertaining and useful. And like and subscribe, because it helps the YouTube algorithm, and appreciate you guys. See you.